The Connecticut Office of Early Childhood is a state agency responsible for licensing family child care homes. This presentation will help you decide if becoming a licensed family child care provider is for you, and will guide you through the process required to become a licensed provider. There are two sections to this presentation. Section 1 will help you decide if becoming a licensed family child care provider is for you and guide you through the application process. Section 2 will help you prepare your home for the initial inspection. Section 1 will help you to decide if becoming a licensed family child care provider is for you and will review the steps necessary to complete an application. Before you get started, are you at least 20 years of age? Do you enjoy caring for children? Do you understand the developmental needs of children? Do you use good judgment when it comes to the supervision and safety of children? Are you and your family willing to open your home and hearts to other children? If yes, then becoming a licensed family child care provider may be for you. How exciting! Let's get started. To begin, you will need to obtain an application packet which includes a copy of the Connecticut statutes and regulations for licensing family child care homes. You can visit our website at www.ctoec.org or call the licensing division at 1-800-282-6063 or 860-500-4450. An application is complete when the following items have been submitted to the Office of Early Childhood: the initial application for licensure, the application fee form, including a $40 non-refundable application fee, a complete foster care or adoption license verification form, if applicable, adult medical statements for all adult household members, Connecticut health assessment records for household children under 18 years of age, 3 current complete reference forms, certificates for approved first aid and CPR training, background checks with required fees for all household members 18 years of age and older, a lead water test, a well water test, if applicable, and an auxiliary heating device inspection report, if applicable. Answer all application questions completely and truthfully. False statements can lead to denial of your application. Submit your completed application to the Office of Early Childhood and keep a copy on file at the Family Child Care Home. You must submit an adult medical form for you as well as all other adult household members. The form must be completed and signed by the medical provider, and the exam must have been within the past 12 months. Remember to keep copies for your files. Altered forms may result in the denial of your application. Child health assessment records are required for all household children under the age of 18. All infant, toddler, and preschool children must have a physical completed within the last 12 months prior to the date of your application. School-age children must have a complete physical exam as required by their public school system. Remember, the healthcare provider's signature date is not necessarily the exam date. There will be 3 reference forms included in your application. These must be current and must be completed by individuals that have known you for at least 3 years, only one of whom may be a relative. You must submit current certification in first aid and CPR. A list of acceptable courses can be found on the OEC website. For both first aid and CPR, the certification shall be based on a hands-on demonstration. This hands-on demonstration may be remote, or in person, or a combination of both. CPR certification must also be appropriate for the ages of the children served at the Family Child Care Home. Verification of such certification shall be kept on file at the Family Child Care Home. Family Child Care Home applicants shall submit a lead water test, and those with wells need additional testing. The lead water test must be conducted no more than 12 months prior to the date of your application from a sink used for drinking, beverage, and food preparation. This test must use a first draw sample, meaning the water has to have been standing in the plumbing pipes for at least 6 hours. The analysis of water samples shall be conducted by a registered environmental laboratory. A list of acceptable laboratories can be found on the Department of Public Health website. If your home is served by a well, you must include written proof from a state-certified laboratory that the water was tested within the last year and is safe for drinking. If your home has an auxiliary heating device, such as a wood stove, pellet stove, or gas fireplace, you must include written proof from an authorized licensed professional that it has been inspected and approved for proper use and safe installation. No heating system or device shall pose a hazard to children. If you have applied, held, or currently hold a foster care or adoption license, you are required to have the licensing agency complete the verification form and have the agency submit the completed form to the OEC. Once licensed as a family child care provider, you may wish to utilize agency-approved staff. For example, an additional staff member is required anytime more than 2 children under the age of 18 months are present. An assistant is an adult 18 years of age or older who meets all of the qualifications of a licensed child care provider, except they are not required to complete an agency-approved first aid and CPR course. An assistant, however, can only assist with child care when the provider is present. An agency-approved substitute is an adult 20 years of age or older who meets all of the qualifications of a licensed child care provider who may assume the provider's responsibilities in their absence. Substitute staff must also have first aid and CPR certification. Remember that you are the primary caregiver, and a substitute may not be used for more than 1 hour per day on a regular, recurring basis in your absence, which effectively transfers the license to them. All assistants and substitutes must submit an application, which includes background checks and a non-refundable $15 fee. All staff must be approved by the agency prior to working at the family child care home. Please visit the OEC website to obtain information on how to get a background check, or call our legal division to request a background check packet. Once approved, staff are required to renew every 2 years. All licensed providers are required to identify an emergency caregiver who is 20 years of age or older, can arrive within 15 minutes, and is available during your customary business hours. This person shall be used to provide child care only for unscheduled, unforeseen emergencies. This individual is not approved by the agency and should only be used for the purpose of contacting parents to make pickup arrangements for the children present. This means that they must have access to the children's contact information. Background checks for all household members 18 years of age and older must be submitted with your application, including a required fee for each set of fingerprints. The Office of Early Childhood has partnered with 211 Child Care to provide digital fingerprinting for child care providers and household members who are required to complete comprehensive background checks at least every 5 years. Collecting fingerprints digitally is secure and greatly improves their acceptance rate. You can submit the online version of the Authorization for Release of Information from DCF and FBI privacy notices forms through 211 Child Care by visiting the address found here, as well as schedule an appointment to get fingerprinted at one of many locations across the state. All background checks must clear in order for your application to be considered complete. If you'd prefer to submit your background check forms by mail, please visit the background check section of our website to print the required forms and submit a request for fingerprint cards. Great job! Now you are ready to submit your application to the OEC. What's next? Once your application is received, it will be reviewed by the application unit. You will receive a letter notifying you of any missing information. The sooner you submit this information, the quicker we can continue to process your application. Upon completion of your application, it will be reviewed by a supervisor and, if approved, assigned to a licensing specialist who will contact you to schedule the initial inspection of your home. The entire licensing process must be completed within 12 months of the date you submitted your application. This includes the inspection of your home and any corrections you may need to make. Within this time, it is your responsibility to monitor the status of your application. We hope that this section was helpful. Please remember that this presentation has not covered all of the regulations, so be sure to read them entirely. As a licensed provider, it will be your responsibility to understand and comply with all of the regulations. If you have any questions, please call our help desk at 860-500-4450 or 1-800-282-6063, or refer to the statutes and regulations on our website at www.ctoec.org. Section 2 will help you understand what to expect during the initial inspection of your home as you prepare to become a licensed provider. Congratulations! At this point, your family child care application is nearly complete. The next step will be to schedule an initial inspection of your home with one of our professional child care licensing specialists. When the inspection is scheduled, your child care licensing specialist will share information to help you prepare. We hope that this section helps you understand exactly what will happen during your initial inspection. Before your initial inspection, it's important to familiarize yourself with the family child care statutes and regulations. An initial inspection is your opportunity for a specialist to spend time with you to make sure you understand the regulations and that your home is in compliance. Jot down any questions you may have to discuss with your licensing specialist or call our help desk. It is important to know that during every inspection, the licensing specialist will need to inspect your entire home, indoors and outdoors. We will need to look in all rooms, closets, and outbuildings, including those not used for childcare, to ensure your entire home is safe for children. If your home was built before 1978 and peeling or chipping paint is observed, we will take a sample during our inspection. The sample will be sent to the state laboratory for testing to identify if lead is present in your home. If we observe a pool or other body of water on or near your property, you will be required to install a sturdy fence or barrier that is at least 4 feet high, which totally bars access to the water. All entries and exits shall have self-closing, self-latching devices or locks. When an outside wall of the facility that serves as one side of the fence or barrier to the body of water has a doorway, that doorway shall remain locked. Decorative ponds, fish ponds, and other bodies of water that do not have a fence or barrier shall be completely covered with a child-proofing grate or other barrier to prevent access to children. If we determine that your home is in a high traffic area or has any other hazards, you will need to protect the outdoor play area by barriers to make it safe for children. When choosing which areas in your home to use for childcare, remember that each room you use must have 2 remotely located and unobstructed exits. If your home has any stairways inside or outside that will be used for children, they must have sturdy handrails and be free from obstructions. There should not be areas in which a child could fall through. You must also place a gate or other structure at the entry of stairways accessible to children to prevent falls. Gates are not required to be in place at stairway entries if only school-age children are in care. Prior to your initial inspection, it is important to take some time to get your home in compliance with the regulations. The following slides will review some of the things we will be looking for. You must have a working smoke detector on each level of your home, including the basement and any walk-up attics. Please remember to test your smoke detectors regularly. During every inspection, these will be tested. If your home uses combustible fuel, a carbon monoxide detector on each occupied level of the home is also required. You need to have a fire extinguisher that is at least 5 pounds installed according to the manufacturer's instructions, which may or may not include the use of hangers or brackets in an area that is easily accessible and is no higher than 5 feet from the floor. Your fire extinguisher may exceed 5 pounds as long as you can manage its use. Periodically check the gauge to make sure it's properly charged. In order to keep everyone in your home safe during an emergency, you must have a written plan for the protection of children and child care staff. The plan must include procedures in case of fire, medical, weather, man-made disaster, natural disasters, or acts of terrorism. In addition to having an evacuation plan for the removal of children to a safe location, the plan shall also address sheltering in place if evacuation is not feasible, lockdown procedures, plans for continuation of operations, communication and reunification with parents, and accommodations for infants and toddlers, children with disabilities, and children with chronic medical conditions, made in consultation with the child's parents. You and all staff must be periodically instructed of your duties under the plan and practice an emergency evacuation drill at least quarterly. A written log of the practice drills shall be maintained at the family child care home for 1 year. All of your electrical outlets that are accessible to children must be covered or protected, and all of your electrical cords and appliances shall be secured and in good repair. Electrical cords shall not hang within reach of children. If you have weapons in your home, make sure they are stored unloaded in a locked storage area known to you. Ammunition must be stored in a separate locked location. Your water temperature must be maintained between 60 and 120 degrees Fahrenheit to ensure the health, safety, and comfort of the children. Children under 6 years of age are the most frequent victims of non-fatal burns. A mechanism for individual hand drying shall be accessible. To ensure you are prepared to care for an injured child, you must have at least one portable, readily accessible first aid kit to use whenever children are in care, including during field trips. This kit must be stored out of the reach of children and restocked after use. The regulations include a specific list about the items that must be contained within the first aid kit. If you have pets in your home, it is your responsibility to protect the health and safety of all children. All dogs and cats must have a current rabies vaccination certificate, and a copy must be kept on file for our staff to view during inspections. Animal waste shall be kept inaccessible to children. If you have an animal known to be dangerous or aggressive, you must have a written plan to keep that animal inaccessible to children. Your home and all equipment must be kept clean and sanitary and not pose a health risk to children. Anything that may be dangerous to children must be kept inaccessible. For example, sharp knives and scissors, razors, matches, tools, and lawn and garden equipment. Limiting access to hazardous equipment can prevent injuries to children in your care. Poisonous substances must be kept out of the reach of children at all times. There are over 2 million human poison exposures reported to poison centers every year. Children under 6 years of age account for over half of those potential poisonings. The substances most commonly involved in poison exposures of children are cosmetics and personal care products, cleaning supplies, medications, toiletries, and alcoholic beverages. So remember, anything that says keep out of the reach of children must be kept out of the reach of children in your care. We hope this information will make your initial inspection successful. Please remember that this presentation has not covered all of the regulations, so be sure to read them entirely. As a licensed provider, it will be your responsibility to understand and comply with all of the regulations. We look forward to meeting you. We hope that this section was helpful. If you still have further questions, you may refer to either the statutes and regulations or call our help desk to speak with a licensing specialist.